I don't know about you, but this seems a bit sketchy to me. Russian President Vladimir Putin is offering a ceasefire, but it would only last for 36 hours. Putin ordered Russian armed forces along front lines to cease fire for 36 hours to observe the Orthodox Christmas. The ceasefire starts at noon tomorrow. Putin is calling on Ukraine to do the same. However, Ukraine is not buying any of it. A few hours ago, an advisor, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, tweeting that there will be no truce until Russia withdraws its troops from Ukraine. He goes on to tweet, quote, "Keep hypocrisy to yourself." Now, if both sides agree to the ceasefire, it would be the first major one since Russia's invasion of Ukraine about a year ago. Former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations and former National Security Advisor John Bolton joins me. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Glad to be with you.
You know, there's something sort of ironic about Putin wanting a ceasefire to observe this religious holiday when he certainly didn't have any problem on Christmas Day firing shells, killed 10 people in Kherson. So, I mean, you know, suddenly he's developed religion or respect for religion since Christmas and now.
Well, I think it's certainly hypocritical, but remember, he's talking here about Orthodox Christmas. And so there are two levels to this, I think. One is a propaganda level. The second may or may not be an operational issue for Putin. But the propaganda element is he's the one who's saying, let's take Orthodox Christmas off. And the twist to this is that there are certainly people in Ukraine who still adhere to the Russian Orthodox Church. But about 2 years ago, the Ukrainian Orthodox Church was granted autocephaly from the Moscow Church and is now actually under the protection of the Patriarch in Istanbul. So the Ukrainians left the third Rome to return to the second Rome. And what happened just before what I'll call Western Christmas on the 25th, the Ukrainian Orthodox Church gave its members the option to celebrate on December the 25th or December the 6th. So I think this is Putin propaganda saying this is the real Christmas. And it's a message internally for Russia as much as anything. Now, whether there's an operational ploy here, is he trying to shore up a weak position? Is he trying to bring forces forward for an offensive under the guise of a ceasefire? We don't know, but that wouldn't surprise me either.
Well, you know, like many journalists, I've been in Ukraine in the war a very short period of time, and when you see the level of cruelty and you see, you know, how much people are suffering, it's really hard to sort of, you know, come to grips with the idea, let's take 36 hours off from killing each other and doing these horrible things to each other. You know, it's just, you know, it's just unthinkable to me that, you know, I mean, would you expect that Putin would keep his words? I don't know what the advantage of 36 hours is, but would he keep his word?
Well, I think it's highly questionable. As I say, this could have some operational cover story to it, but it's not unprecedented in Western wars. In World War I, they famously on the trenches on Christmas Day, the soldiers went across and exchanged bottles of wine or beer or whatever it was they were drinking on Christmas. I think it's largely propaganda from Putin's point of view, and I think it's, as I say, I think its main audience is inside Russia to show he's the one making a humanitarian gesture and Zelensky rejecting it. If I were in Zelensky's shoes, I'd have done exactly the same thing.
You know, for the last year, we've been sort of on a health watch for Putin, comparing every picture that comes out of him, wondering whether he's healthy or not healthy, whether he's shaking or not, whether his face looks fat or thin. Do you have any information or thoughts on his health?
No, I don't. I mean, I didn't stay on a Holiday Inn last night. I can't give you a diagnosis. I tend to discount these ideas. Well, sorry, whatever. I gave a plug to the wrong hotel chain. I think it's a mistake to try and find mental reasons or physical reasons for Putin's policy. It's not just Putin's war. A lot of Russians see this the same way. They think the breakup of the Soviet Union was a Western U.S. plot, that Ukraine and the other former republics are illegitimate states, and they want them back. And so Putin's logic is not our logic, that's for sure. That was an expression he used a lot, and he used to say, you know, you have your logic, we have ours, we'll see who prevails. And I think that's what what is at stake here. This is something of importance to them that they're willing to pursue at a cost we can't comprehend.
All right, we have 30 seconds left. Foreign Minister Lavrov, who I suspect you know or might have met because he's been the foreign minister since about 2004. Is he, what is, you know, it's hard for me to understand his devotion to Putin. Is it fear or is he a believer?
No, he's a bureaucrat. I've known him for 30 years. And when I first met him in the George H.W. Bush administration, the briefing I got on him started off by saying, we assess he is not a communist. We assess he's a czarist. And he still is. He was 30 years ago. He still is today.
Ambassador John Bolton, thank you, sir.
Thank you.